Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I am going to show you how to stitch princess cut asymmetrical hemline designer tunic, which is much trending nowadays. Hope you'll all like it. These are the fabrics I am using for the tunic, each of 1.5 meters. So let's start with the measurement details. The measurements that I'll mark here on this fabric are fitted to 38 to 40 inches bust size. Now I am showing you how I take my simple kurti measurements. First, mark the length of the tunic. I am taking here 48 inches. Then I'll mark a point on 14.5 inches. That is my waist length point. And I'll mark a point on 22 inches. That is my hip length point. Extend these lines. Then I'll mark my shoulder width. That is 1/6 part of my bust measurements, adding ½ inch. My bust is 39 inches. So 1/6 of 39 is equal to 6.5 inches, and adding ½ inch, that is become 7 inches. And for the armhole depth, I am taking ½ inch extra to the shoulder width, that is 7.5 inches. Armhole depth, I am taking ½ inch extra to the shoulder width, that is 7.5 inches. Then for the bust measurements, I am taking full round of my bust, adding 2 inches of ease allowance and divided it into by 4. That is, in my case, 39 plus 2 is equal to 41. Divided by 4 is equal to 10.25 inches. And 1 inch extra for the stitching margin. And for the waist measurements, I am taking full round of waist, adding 2 inches of ease allowance and divide it into by 4. That is, in my case, I am taking 9.25 inches and 1 inch extra for the stitching margin. And for the hip measurements, full round of hip, adding 2 inches of ease allowance and divide it into by 4. I am taking here 11 inches and 1 inch extra for the stitching margin. And it's a A-line kurti, so I am adding 8 to 10 inches to the bottom ghera. That is 20 inches I am taking here, and 1 inch extra for the stitching margin. Join all the points as shown. I am making a boat neck for this tunic, so I'll mark 4.5 inches for the neck width here. Neck depth for front, I am taking 4 inches. Front neck depth 4 inches. And for the back neck depth, I am taking 2 inches, giving a curve shape to the neck. Shoulder drop, I am taking ½ inch. Giving the shape to the front and back armhole. Then on the waistline I am taking 12th part of my bust measurements, adding half inch. 12th part of bust measurements, adding half inch, that is in my case 3.75 inches. And then I'll mark the apex point on 10.5 inches. Then on the armhole depth line, mark a point on 2 inches upside. Mark a point on 2 inches upside to the armhole depth and join with a curved line to the waist point for the princess cut seam as shown in the video. Then on the bottom of the tunic, I am marking as 7 inches and join the points . I have marked the same measurements on the other side of the fabric. Open the fabric piece. Here I am marking the length of the kurti on right hand side as 40 inches. 40 inches length I am taking on the right hand side of the kurti. And on the left hand side I am taking the length of the kurti 48 inches as shown, and I am joining these length points with an angled line as shown. Now to get a triangle shape to the center panel, I am taking 9 inches as shown and give it a triangular shape as shown in the video. Now I'll cut these same measurements on the paper. This is the paper cutting of pattern with back measurements. I'll separate these pieces. We get 3 separate pieces. Now I'll show you how to cut these on fabrics. Pin the paper cutting on 2 layers of fabrics since we need 2 pieces of each for front and back. And I have given half inch stitching margin to the curved sides of the panels and 1 inch stitching margin on the bottom ghera as shown. And cut these patterns accordingly. Pin the center panel on 2 layers of fabrics. We will need 2 of these for front and back. I am giving half inch margin on the both sides and 1 inch margin on the bottom side as shown, and cut the pieces accordingly. are the pieces for the tunic. Now I'll show you how to cut the sleeves. I am making short sleeves of 5 inches length. Fold the fabric into 4 as shown. I'll mark the length of the sleeves as 5 inches and mark a point on 3.5 inches. Extend these lines. Marking a point on 7.5 inches as armhole depth and 1 inch extra for the stitching margin. Mark the sleeves opening as 6.5 inches and 1 inch extra for the stitching margin. Join the points and give a curve shape to the front and back armhole and cut the sleeves. Now take the front center panel and mark the front neck depth as 4 inches and cut the neckline as shown. Now I have all my pattern pieces, panels for front and back, sleeves pieces and 1.5 inches width of bias strips. Now I'll show you how to stitch it. First, stitch the bottom of each panel by double folding it. After stitching, I'll show you. I have stitched the bottom of the panels and now I'll show you how to conceal the raw edges of neckline. I am making dory piping neckline. For this, take bias strips and dory. Wrap the dory with the bias strips by 1/2 inch and make a stitch line just close to the dory. I'll show you how to do this. Now place this dory on the neckline by facing both right side upwards and stitch with 1/2 inch seaming allowance as shown. Now give small cuts to the edges as shown and double fold the strip to the wrong side and make a stitch line close to the dory. And do the hand hemming to the wrong side of the strip and similarly conceal the raw edges of the back side neck. Now pin the princess cut seam from armhole side. Pin it little by little. And always start stitching this from armhole side. I'll show you how to stitch it. Do the top stitching as shown. Conceal the raw edges with zigzag stitch. Similarly, stitch all the panels by pinning first. I have stitched panels for front and back both. Just join the shoulders and sleeves and do the side stitching of the dress. After doing this, I'll show you the final look of the dress. And this is the final outcome of the dress. It's really so well fitted dress. By doing little changes in the simple basic pattern, you can stitch designer and perfect fitted dresses. Hope you all liked it. Please like, comment and share my work to your near and dears. And also subscribe to my channel for more such easy tutorials. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.